So last January, I sat down and I made a list of goals for myself for 2021. And I will be the first to admit that I have never done that in my life. I've never sat down, I never really written down my goals. And I know I'm somebody who talks about goals a lot as it pertains to fitness and all the rest of it. But when it comes to like sitting down and making yearly goals for yourself, I never did it. Well, this past year I did it and I kind of forgot about that list. And like every 2-3 months, I remember that I made that list and I go and look at it. And to my surprise, I've actually checked a lot of things off the list for myself. But this video is about one goal that I made for myself in particular. And that goal was to get into the best shape of my life. And I had kind of like little specifics of what that meant, but nothing like concrete, which was stupid. I'll show you what I wrote. So this is what I wrote. I wrote, get in the best shape of your life. More muscle, consistently lean, athletic. Now those are 3 things I could have done with a whole lot more specificity had I thought about it more at the time. And I talk a lot about fitness goals and how to set fitness goals that you'll actually reach. And the way you do that is that you make them actionable, you make them specific, you make them things that you can actually do to get here. So this was a really long preamble to get to the point that I want to be kicking off a series on this channel of me getting into the best shape of my life. And in this video, I'm going to break down exactly what that's going to look like and see, starting now, almost October, if I can get there by January. So let's start by breaking down what does it mean to be in the best shape of my life. Now I'm sorry that you're going to be seeing a little bit of the tripod in here, but I don't actually have like a full-size camera rig here to get a little overhead shot. So we're kind of jerry-rigging this a bit. So the first thing that I said I wanted to be was consistently lean. I wanted to have more muscle and I wanted to be athletic. So consistently lean is going to be something to check in on in January, because right now I'm pretty lean. I'm not going to take my sweater off to just like show my body, but I will insert like a douchey gym selfie so you can see what my physique looks like right now. I took this picture 2 days ago. So lean will be check back in January. Odds are I might get a little bit leaner than that because of some running that I'm doing and all the rest of it and the way my training is looking right now and those goals that I have for myself. But let's just say like that's lean. Like we can agree that I'm pretty lean right now. So if I can just stay there consistently come January, then I would have been consistently lean. Now in terms of muscle, you can see in the picture that I threw up how much muscle I have in my body. And quite frankly, I made that goal for myself before I did a bulk in the past year. So last year, I kind of bulked through essentially until the beginning of summer. And then I started to kind of do a very slow, methodical cut. If I'm being completely honest with you, I have no real desire at this point in my life or in the foreseeable future to get that much more muscular. Now, I'm definitely not like some muscle-headed freak right now. I'm not jacked and huge. And if you saw me like you are right now with like this oversized sweater on, you're not gonna be like, wow, that guy's packing a lot of muscle. But for my frame, for how I feel, the muscle that I put on in my bulk, I'm pretty pleased with. Now for context, when I took that picture, I weighed about 163 pounds. And I'm about 5'10 and a half on a good day. For that same level of like visual leanness in the past year, I probably would have had to be in the very low 150s, if not the high 140s. Now, if you're new to the channel, you don't really know me or my story, it's worth noting that when I first started getting in shape and really caring about and putting on muscle and all the rest of it, I was very sick and I weighed about 105 pounds. So if you're like, well, 150 is for 5'10", like, dude, you're not very big. Well, my starting point was about 105 pounds and 0 muscle. And I'm not making an excuse there, but I think it's important to have context here when I'm setting these goals for myself. It would be super unrealistic for me to be like, well, I want to be 190 and 6% body fat. Because frankly, I don't want to get there, and B, I don't know if I ever really will. And I'm very okay with that. Now, the third thing is probably the most important thing to me, and that is athletic. Right now, I would consider myself athletic, but does that mean that I hit my goal of being in the best shape of my life? And the answer is no, because I still have several months left in this goal for myself, which means I have a lot of time and a lot of room to become the best, most athletic version of myself. So currently right now I'm playing hockey. So we've got team sports in there. Being able to sufficiently play hockey at a fairly okay level, I'm not gonna say an elite level, but like a high-ish level, you know, fast-paced and all the rest of it, that's gonna require some athleticism. And right now, I'm pretty comfortable with that. I also am running 5x a week. I strength train 3 to 4 times a week, and I bike via commute a few miles a day. So for athletic, I've got team sport in there, I have running, I have strength training, and I have my biking. When I think about athletic, I think about pound for pound strength. I think about being able to run fast, run long distances, and to maybe jump high, something like that, you know, run, jump, strength, classic athletic endeavors. So that is what we're gonna be focusing on here. So let's break those down. Let's start with running. So right now, I can run a comfortable 10 plus miles at about a 9-minute pace for 10 to 13 miles. Now this 10 mile number is something that I'm pretty comfortable doing. I go on 10-mile runs every so often. I can do that comfortably, and from a cardiovascular standpoint, it's not a problem at all. The 13 miles, let's call that a half marathon. So my goal for myself is to drop this pace of 9 minutes per mile at 13 miles to around 8 to 8:30. Now, as of making this video, I have registered for a half marathon in December, but I'm thinking about registering for a half marathon in November as well, just to put a little bit more pressure on myself to do this. So my running goal for myself is going to be a half marathon at 8 to 8:30 pace. Now let's do jump high, because that's kind of a weird one. I am not a professional athlete. Nobody's tested my vertical jump in a long time. Probably since I played baseball in high school, and I'd reckon that it's a little bit better now than it was then. So let's do the jump high. So for that, we're gonna need a baseline, which I don't have for you right now, but we're gonna find that baseline, and we're gonna try and increase my baseline vertical jump by, I don't know, 3 inches. That might be super hard actually, and I have no idea. I'm kind of blind making this a goal for myself, but that might make this series a little bit more interesting for you. Now, something that I have done in my training in the past has been broad jumps. So let's say for a broad jump, we'll take my baseline and increase that by 1 foot. I don't know how crazy difficult that's gonna be at all, but it might be. So I'm gonna set the goal for myself to try and get there, because that would be an increase. Now, when we're talking about best shape of my life, anything bigger than my baseline now is going to be probably the best shape of my life. And I'll agree with you right now that this jump high thing, even as I'm writing this, feels a little bit nebulous to me, and I really don't know what I'm getting myself into. But like I said, that might make this a little bit more fun. Now, the last thing in here for the best shape of my life is going to be strength. And that's gonna be pound for pound strength. When I say pound for pound strength, essentially what I'm saying is that for my body weight, I want to be strong. And I'm not even gonna take this from a weightlifting standpoint. I'm not gonna try and put this on here as to increase my bench press or anything like that. What I wanna be able to do is a muscle up. Muscle ups are hard, and it's something that I've always wanted to be able to do, and to do consistently and with control. Right now, I can do muscle ups with a band, and frankly, they aren't the prettiest things in the world, as you can see right here. So my goal that I'm gonna set for myself is to do 5 to 10 muscle ups with control, because I can't do that right now. If I can do that, I would unequivocally be able to say that I am probably pound for pound the strongest that I would be in my entire life, which is the whole goal of this. I'm not trying to be a strongman. I'm not trying to be a powerlifter. I'm not trying to do anything else other than be the best version of myself to date, which is frankly what all of us should be striving for. These goals that I'm setting for myself aren't about competing with anybody other than myself. Because at the end of the day, you have to remember, it's always you versus you. So there you have it, guys. The goals that I'm gonna set for myself in this new series of me getting into the best shape of my life, ideally before January 1st, 2022. Now, what I wanna do with this series is to essentially take you guys along and vlog this experience. Now, it's not gonna be every single video, but I wanna sprinkle these in of me attempting to reach these goals for myself and what that is going to look like for me. I hope that this series inspires you to set a goal for yourself, perhaps a very lofty goal, because I have a feeling after recording this that the goals I set down on camera here are maybe a little too lofty, but that's just gonna make for more of a challenge and a better experience, I think, for me and hopefully for you guys watching. But with the gauntlet laid down here for myself, I am going to end the video here. Make sure you're subscribed so that you see the future videos on this series. And of course, make sure to like the video and comment down below a goal that you are going to be working towards by the end of the year. Making this video is making this feel very real for me and making me more excited. I hope it keeps me accountable, and I hope that I can keep you accountable as well. So stick around for the journey, and I will catch you guys in the next one.